Go ahead and grab your weight. We're going to get it over your shoulder. So we just want to open up the shoulder a little bit. So you're going to take whatever weight you're using with two hands and press it up overhead. You want to get the palm facing forward. So if I back up and up, you can see that my elbow is straight. My palm is facing forward. And try to get the bicep as close as you can to the ear. And then you want to draw the shoulder blade down. So you're trying to pull the shoulder blade down as you keep the elbow straight. And looking up is always helpful. And you want to let the weight of the bell, the weight, draw the arm back as you try to draw the shoulder blade down, keeping the elbow extended and the bicep nice and close to the ear. You're going to lower the weight with two hands. So take your left hand, hold on to the weight with the left and the right hand. Turn the pinky to face forward and lower the weight so that the wrist and the elbow come down in one line. So you're going to go over to the other side. Two hands to get the weight overhead. And as soon as you get the weight overhead, you take the other hand away. You try to straighten through the elbow as much as you can. Keep the palm facing forward so that the weight will draw the arm back. Trying to keep the elbow as straight as possible and get the bicep close to the ear. Looking up so you're not pushing your head forward. Glancing up and just letting the weight of that bell or whatever weight you're using open the shoulder as you keep the elbow nice and stiff and the palms relaxed. You bring the other hand up now. Turn the pinky forward, and you're going to go ahead and lower the weight. So we're going to go to the wall, or just use the back of the chair, the back of your couch, and we just want you to cross the right foot over. So just cross the right foot over above the left knee. Then you want to pull back on the right toes. So pull back on the toes on the right foot. Keep the collarbone up. You can either lean into the wall or kind of hang back away from it, but keep the collarbone up so there's no feedback to your low back. Trying to keep your left shin nice and vertical. Sitting the tailbone down and trying to sweep it back in this fashion, and then cueing the right knee down. So there should be some stretch around the outside of the right hip. Should feel some pulling it back into the glute. And then try to keep this shin vertical so you're not shearing into the knee. In this fashion, we're going to go ahead and switch to the other side. So get that right leg nice and vertical. Shin is nice and vertical. Cross the left foot over the top. Pull back on the left toes. Keep the collarbone up. And think about setting the tailbone back. Driving the tailbone back. And naturally it'll go down. But just keep the collarbone up so that there's no feedback to the low back. Pulling back on these left toes. Cueing this left knee down so there's some stretch to the outside of that left hip. And then sitting down nice and deep. And then we're going to go ahead and come on out of it. We're going to go to standing bow here today, and I want you to just utilize the wall as some support. Grab the inside of your right foot if you can. When you grab the inside of your right foot, it's going to turn your hip just a little bit so it keeps the ankle in line with the knee and the hip. And I want you to keep nice and tall, but think about kicking that foot as far back behind you as you can. You're not have to worry about the balance here, but do keep the short foot on the left. The pelvic floor should stay engaged, but you're trying to create as much separation between the right heel and the glute as you can with the torso up nice and tall, so there's a nice big arch that I create in my back. One breath here. Exhale, nice strong kick. And then we'll go over to the other side. So getting yourself stable on the wall, the back of the couch, grab the inside of that left foot. Keeping the torso up nice and tall, you're going to literally squeeze that left glute and try to create as much separation between the heel and the glute as possible. Keeping the torso up. You're trying to facilitate a nice big arch through your lower back with that left glute working. Breath in here. Big exhale. And then we're going to come on down. We're going to do the same thing with balancing sticks. So you're going to get into a balancing stick setup. You're going to use your wall, the back of your chair, your couch. And you're going to try to get that torso down just as far as you can. So you're trying to get as close to a finished balancing stick. You see my left leg still has room to come up and to straighten. We're trying to get the torso all of the way down and the leg all of the way up. And then sitting back into this right hip. So as you start to get the torso down, try to stiffen the right leg. Keep that right foot short. Keep reaching through the left leg. Keep trying to keep the pelvis nice and square. And then see if you can take your hands away from that support and manage that balancing stick for 10, 12, 15 seconds here. Hanging on nice and strong. Try to get nice and deep toward finished balancing stick. You want to feel that right leg working and stretching. Breath here. Exhale. Go nice and deep. We'll swing to the other side. Whew. So again, you're using the stability of the wall for support, but you do want to keep the short foot. So short foot here on the left, pulling the ball of the foot toward the heel and toes, pressing into the mat. Trying to square the pelvis, and then trying to dump that torso down, and then reaching that right leg up and back. Find all the tightness through the chest and the shoulders. And try to get as close to that balancing stick as you can. So heavy drag through this left leg as I try to straighten, keeping the short foot, and trying to take that support away to hang on that close to full balancing stick. Really making that foot work hard. Breath here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to come on to the sumo squat. So we're going to grab your bell or grab your weight. If you're using a dumbbell, it's easier to grab it by the ends of the dumbbell. And you get those toes out nice and wide. The key is to keep the chest back. So keep that chest and shoulders right above your hips. Don't let the chest and shoulders lean forward at all. The knees will come forward. You just try to pull back on those knees as much as you can as you descend toward a nice deep sumo squat. Making sure your low back stays nice and quiet. So sitting down deep as you can. The foot is short. Both sides, the pelvic floor stays engaged. You're pulling back on the knees as you descend with that torso, that collarbone back as much as possible. Take a couple more nice deep sumo squats here, and then we'll go to single hand and try to put just a little pace on it. So if you grab with just one hand, you squat down, and then you transfer at the top of the movement. As soon as you shift that weight, try to lock those hips out forward. As soon as those hips kick forward, you pass the weight. Keep pulling back on the knees. Keep back on the torso. If you're feeling your low back, your chest is not back far enough, you can always abandon. 4, 3, 2, 1, and come on up with that. Let's grab your ball here. We're going to get into the side saddle stretch. And again, you're trying to get sitting kind of side saddle on the ball. Try to get your back foot back to the top of the ball of the foot. Just notice a lot of people's heels want to turn down here. Don't let the heel turn down. Keep that heel perched right up if you can. And then you get that leg back just as far as possible. So I'm trying to corkscrew this foot back as far as I can, and I'm pushing down into the ball of my right foot. I'm trying to straighten this leg. My quad is already burning. The glute is burning. The arm straightens, pulling back on the palm, facing forward as far as you can, then bend laterally to the left. So you're trying to bend as pure laterally as you can. The body's going to want to roll the right shoulder forward. Just keep that shoulder and arm pulling back and bend to the left as far as you can go with that right glute on. Breath here. Big exhale. And we'll go over to the other side. So getting yourself set onto the right hip, and then getting that left foot back, trying to find the ball of the foot, trying to get that heel perched as if you're finishing a running stride. So it's a back stride. Get this glute on, The left elbow locks out. You pull that palm back with the elbow straight, and you reach to the side with the right arm and let that rib cage open. So you want to get a nice big heavy bend through the left side of that hip, the top of that pelvis, even the rib cage in the front here if you've got SI joint issues. Taking a breath. Big exhale. And let's get you down on the ball on your back. So we'll start you down here on your back first. This is pretty good. And again, you're trying to get foot on top of the ball. You can push through the heels to bridge in the beginning, but eventually you want to be able to get the palms of the feet down. And again, it's very important you use the shoulders. So get the shoulders down away from the ears. Press the back of the shoulders, the arms into the floor, and keep these elbows locked out. You want to be very stiff from the elbows across the tops of the shoulders to the other elbow. So get your bridge up nice and high. Stay strong in your shoulders. And then bridge down and up. And every time you bridge up, try to get your feet contacting the ball, the palms of your feet, and push with your shoulders to boost that bridge just a little bit higher than you normally get without the assistance. So always trying to push that bridge nice and high. 4, 3, 2, up and hold. Now we're going to go to a hamstring curl. So again, what matters is your back stays quiet here. So if you start to feel your lower back, don't worry about getting the bridge so high. Try to use your arms for additional support. And don't worry about how far you move the ball. How far you roll the ball in and out is irrelevant. Just keep the body nice and stable. So try to keep the hips up. Try to keep the pelvis from wobbling or lowering. And keep that low back quiet. But force yourself to use the back of those shoulders and arms. 5, 4, 3, and come on over to your belly. And we're going to go to soaring Superman. So from your stomach, you're going to get yourself forward and up on the ball that you can feel yourself lifting your torso, but you don't want any strain in the back. So the less of the body hanging out into space, meaning the further the ball is down on your abdomen and pelvis, the harder it is to lift. So just keep the low back quiet. Get yourself set up so you get the glutes on and the chest is up just a little bit above normal extension. You're going to bring these elbows in close to the low part of your rib cage. Get the shoulders down away from your ears and keep them there. Pulling back on your forearms as if you're trying to touch them to the ceiling. Reach these arms forward, and then when you touch the hands together as you extend it, and then pull with the hands together to try to create as much extension through the elbows and lift through the wrists and the arms at the end of that motion. Just keep the low back quiet. Reaching way out, pulling back those forearms the whole time. Squeeze those elbows in tight. Pull those wrists up and back. A few more passes here. Keep pulling those wrists and elbows back. One more time here. Pull these in nice and tight. Pull those wrists and elbows way up to the ceiling. Reach and lift. And then come on down. Flip it over on your back. And we're going to go to the half moon. So you're going to move through a half moon position here first. And then we're going to add the arm fascial drag. So get the hands clasped together, the fingers interlocked, the index fingers extended. Slide down on your ball, meaning roll your ball up toward your shoulders and head. And try to dump the tailbone down as you reach through those elbows and fingers. And try to reach those fingertips back toward the floor. You're trying to find all of this tightness around the rib cage. So keep pointing the tailbone down as you reach those fingers back. Trying to extend through the elbows Taking a breath here. Try to push your belly out as much as you can when you inhale. Now go ahead and bring the palms together right on the top of your head. Pull the elbows back. You can hold the chin tucked here in this position as long as it's comfortable. If your neck starts to fatigue, then certainly lay it back. You don't want your neck hurting. But you're going to put the wrists on the top of the head, pulling back on your elbows. Again, you're trying to sink the tailbone down here. Pull back on your elbows. I'm letting my head fall back, and I pull back on the elbows as I continue to push the palms together and straighten the arms. Just keep straightening with those palms contact and keep the posture as close to the setup as you can. It'll fade a little bit as you try to reach those elbows out all the way and pull those fingers back. Big breath here. Big exhale. And then we're going to go ahead and grab your weight. So grab your weight beside you with two hands, and we'll do a set of pullovers here. Again, you're trying to create stretch with some stability. So get the tailbone way down here. So move that ball up nice and high behind the shoulders. Get a big stretch. Take a big breath. And then pull. Bring that up over the chest. So a nice big reach, nice big breath. Drop that tailbone and pull. A few more here. Nice big reach through those arms. So you can get those elbows to stretch out a little further. Last two. Reach that belly back, drop that tailbone down, stretch that belly. And then once again, we're going to set that down to the side. You're going to flip over on your back again. And we're going to go back to bridging. We're going to do a one-legged bridge here to two. So we'll do right and then left and then 2 feet on the ball. So get yourself set, squared away, get those shoulders nice and stable. Press the back of the shoulders into the floor, keep the arms nice and stiff. Pushing your hips up to bridge if you can. If you can't manage a single leg, just stick with two. Once more, up and hold. You're going to transfer those feet, and then down and up. Stay strong on those shoulders. Last two. Up and hold. Get those feet right together. Try to get the knees as close as you can together, and then down and up. Last two. Up and hold, strong in your shoulders, squeeze your feet into that ball, kick that bridge a little higher. 3, 2, 1. And we'll flip you over to your belly. We're going to go to the push-up. So let's do the push-up on the ball here. Again, you're not concerned about how deep you go at all with the push-up. If you go down just barely a half an inch, that's fine. Just keep the shoulders down, away from the ears. And again, if you get your hands to the side, kind of push in on the ball with your fingers pointing down. It's a little easier to stabilize it. Get those shoulders nice and stable. You come up to your push-up position. Get those shoulders down, away from your ears. Keep your elbows tucked in tight. And descend as best you can. And then push yourself away. Two more. Up and hold, hold. Raise your right foot, hold. Left foot, hold. And then come on off of the ball. Get that off to the side here for now. Go ahead and grab your wedge and your weight. And we're going to get you to do some core work. And then we'll do some more stretches. So getting your wedge underneath you, we can really get good results with this knee to the chest thing. So you really want to get your knee to pull in very high. Get it up, way up. Pull those toes back and press hard into those hands. Count 1, 2. That pinch in that hip, if any of you had it in the beginning, that should be fading away now. If it's not, just email me and let me know. And press 1, 2. Once again here, nice and high. And again here on the left, way up with that knee. Now pull this knee up as high as you can and press as low as you can. Other side. Get that weak hip flexor way up. Once again on the right. Back here on the left. Now on the right, push the inside. And then other side. Once again here. And bridge. Let's have you come on back down. Now, you gotta make sure you keep your shoulder nice and stable here. We're gonna go to a one-hand chest press. So you've gotta make sure that this shoulder is not elevating. So take your time with the movement. Even if you only get a few, just make sure that you don't fail and the shoulder starts to elevate. Keep the weight to the outside of the wrist. It's going to want to turn this way. Keep it to the outside so there's some tremor. You bring the feet up. The left leg will reach away, and you're going to lower and raise the bell with the foot. And you see my right arm landing at 90 degrees, my elbow. Up and hold. Now lift. Up and hold. Head is back. Sternum is up. Right leg is away. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll switch over to that other side. So we'll go over here to the left. If you have a left SI joint, there's going to be weakness in the abdomen down on this side. So see if you can get the abdomen on the left to be working here. Right leg is away. Getting that elbow down at 90 degrees. Gets that weight down close to the belly. Up and hold. Now lift. Strong through the shoulder. So lift through the abdomen. Up and hold. Left leg is away. Sternum is up. The head is back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And come on down. Nice job. We're going to go to bridge. Go ahead and grab this weight again. Move your wedge up toward your shoulder. So get it up in your waist, above the pelvis, and below the rib cage. So we're going to reverse Russian twist. And again, with the weight should stay in stiff arms, but it shouldn't move very far. The knees should be moving 3 times the distance of that weight. So the weight is just a cantilever, and the load slows down the movement of the knees. And we're going to get a stretch and shortening, a plyo effect through the waist and the core. So try to really turn those knees and feel the resistance from that load, allowing that stretch and shortening. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and bridge. Coming on down. Whew. So bringing your wedge up even higher now. Get into placement up below the rib cage, making sure your back is quiet. Extend the left leg out straight. You're going to cross the right foot over the left knee and cueing this right knee down. I like to pull back on the toes here too. It helps to keep the leg stiff and stable. You're trying to keep this tailbone pointing down, so you don't want the pelvis to pop up or limit it as much as possible. And you're going to reach up to the ceiling. Up and hold. Now pulse. Now hold. Now reach those hands back slowly. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And come on down. Little bridge here. You extend that right leg out straight. Across the left foot. Over the top of that right knee. Pulling back on the left toes. And cueing this left knee down. We're going to lift straight up to the ceiling. Making sure we control the pelvis. Up and hold. Now we'll pulse. Hold. Reaching those hands back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And coming on down. Really good job. Go ahead and bridge up. Set your wedge way down at the belt line. Take your weight, put it up over your head on the floor. You're going to use it as an anchor. So your placement should be down like at the belt line. Even lower if you need it. Just make sure your back stays nice and quiet. We're going to frog these legs together. So push those heels, pull the toes back, and then flare the knees away. Get the feet pulled in nice and close. Try to keep the tailbone pointing down and reach those feet away as you press hard with those heels together, working the insides of those sides. Just keep the toes turned out and pulled back as much as you possibly can. So don't let go of that setup. Once more, reach out and hold. Pull those toes back, turn them away. Down and up 2 inches with both feet. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bridge. Go ahead and come on down. You're going to move your wedge placement up just a little bit higher above the pelvis a little bit. Hands are back behind your head. You're going to pull back on these elbows. Cross the right foot over the left knee. Cueing this right knee down a little. You're going to move through the hip first, but just keep the shoulders pinned back into the floor. Once more, hold. Now hold those elbows back and lift. Tiny, tiny, tiny little motion. And bridge. Coming on down. Switch it over to the other side. So cross that left foot over. Pull back on the left toes. Cue that left knee down. Hands are behind the head. Kind of looking back behind you. The head will press naturally into the hands a little with the elbows pulled back. And trying to get that leg to move as much weight as you can manage with your back quiet. Now lower and hold, now lift. And bridge. Coming on down. Pushing up to bridge here. Let's go ahead and grab your weight again. You're going to hold it with 2 hands and you're going to move it from hip to hip. You move it to the hip on the side that the leg is not moving. So I'm going to reach my right leg away and move it to my left hip. So move your wedge placement so it's down at the belt line again. Get the weight up over your chest. And then you're going to reach the right leg away and move it to the left hip and then switch. So really try to get the weight down beside that hip. You're trying to load into that weak oblique area. Last 4. those hips up to bridge. You're going to bridge nice and high. Slide that wedge out from underneath you. You're going to grab your ball again, and you're going to move your wedge out onto the floor. We're going to do a walkover on the ball. So you want to get your placement set up, meaning your ball placement set up kind of on the front of your thighs, to the top of your knees, to your shins or so. The further the ball is away from your hands, the more challenging the movement. So most important that your back stays quiet and comfortable here. So you're going to go ahead and get yourself set up. Your wedge is on the floor. Again, with your ball on your knees or even your thighs, you're going to start here. Tiny little push-up. One hand on your wedge, one on the floor. And then you're going to get two hands up the best you can. Tiny little push-up. Then you bring your right hand off. Little push-up. And then back to two hands on the other side on the floor. And then back through. So left hand up. Right and left hand up. Left hand off. Right and left hand off. Let's go through it once more, back and forth. Right hand on. Left hand on. Right hand off. Left hand off. Left hand on. Both hands on. Left hand off. And both hands off. And come off your ball. Good job. Let's get you back up here on your mat. Get that to the side. And we're going to go to some stretching postures. So let's move you to screaming pigeon. We're going to do screaming pigeon with the modification of the knee off the floor. So if I set up here on my mat and get the knee angle out to 90 degrees, just reach the left foot back as best you can, but square the hips immediately. So my right foot is in line with my left knee, and you see the right knee off of the floor. Now shifting the body weight back, pull back on the right toes, and then cue the outside of the right knee down toward the floor as you roll the body away. So turning the torso to the left as I push the outside of my right knee toward the mat. Trying to get big stretch through this SI joint, this low back pelvis area, across the top of the hip. So pushing down with my hand, but cueing my knee to work. Toes are pulled back. Pushing the outside of that knee toward the floor, turning to the left. Now, squeeze the left glute. Get the left knee off the floor. Give that left glute a good squeeze. Take a breath. Turn a little further to the left. 3, 2, 1. We'll go to the other side. So you swing the left knee set up to a 90-degree angle here, like you're going to be in a screaming pigeon. And instead of turning the pelvis with the knee on the floor, you set the pelvis right square to the floor, and that left knee will automatically come up. The left heel will be in line with the right knee, shifting that body weight back, pulling back on the outside of my left knee, pull back on my toes, and then I use my hand to help. If you have a left SI joint problem, you're going to feel this heavy pressure down around that pelvis. This is a good thing to open this up. So keep pulling to the outside of the knee, pulling the knee away, and turning the torso to the right. Now squeeze that back glute. Squeeze that back glute as hard as you can. Turn a little more to the right. Push the knee a little further to the left. Take a breath here. Big exhale. Okay, we'll come to your hands and knees for the half bow. So from your hands and knees, you're going to grab the top of your right foot with your left hand. And you're going to bring that right foot in line with the hip. Get your right arm nice and strong. So spread those fingers out in the right hand and turn that right elbow forward. This locks the fascia, stabilizes the shoulder. And you're going to get better stretch from that hip with that shoulder locked in place. The left lat should be working. So the left shoulder pulled down from the ear. And the right glute squeezing intensely. Take a breath here. Big exhale. And we'll swing to the other side. So the left hand is down, fingers are spread. And then that left elbow turns forward, grabbing the left foot with the right hand. And then spinning that foot back in line with the hip as best you can. And then kicking. So the right shoulder pulled down from my ear. I'm contracting the right lat intentionally. Squeezing the left glute intentionally. Turning that left elbow forward with the hand locked in place. Taking a big breath here. Big exhale. And we'll come on to thread the needle. So passing the torso, arm under the torso, I'll spin around this way, the right arm first. So I draw my right arm underneath the shoulder, and then I try to get that shoulder down as close to the floor as possible. I'm going to flip that hand clockwise, and then try to extend that elbow, trying to squeeze the muscles in the back of the arm, trying to press the arm into the floor. Lots of pressure to the outside of my right elbow. That's where I get tendonitis. Turning that elbow, turning that arm, squeezing that shoulder. Breath here to your belly. Little extra pressure with that arm into the floor. And we'll go to the other side. So spinning you around 180. And you get that left shoulder as close as you can to the floor. And then you flip that hand counterclockwise this time. Try to get that elbow extended as best you can. And then pressure with that arm into the floor. Keeping that left elbow locked out. Really important to keep that left elbow locked out nice and strong. Take a breath here. Exhale, squeeze, push hard forward. And come on out of that. We're going to go to downward dog to upward dog. We'll take a brief pause in stick pose and then into our front plank sequence. So the front plank, when we get there, just make sure your low back is quiet. Don't worry about anything in your low back. If you feel your low back at all, just bail. Good grip with your hands. Get the knees nice and soft. Start to push those heels and knees back. Pointing that tailbone up toward the ceiling. And then trying to get those legs and knees and heels back. Trying to find that deep drag through the back of the hamstrings, calves, Achilles. And then trying to stay out of the low back. Sinking the chest down between the shoulder blades. Miserable pose. Push those heels back. Push those knees back. Take a breath here. Drive that tailbone up just a little further, a little deeper. Briefly into stick here. So basically down with the elbows bending toward 90 and then up to upward plank. Tops of the feet, glutes engaged, no compression in the back. Strong in the hands. Turn the elbows forward. Lift the chin. Take a breath to your belly. Into the front plank sequence. So strong in the shoulders, right foot up. Switch, switch, switch. You widen your stance, control the hip, right hand to the right. Now the left, back to the right, back to the left. The right hand comes forward. Now the left, the right, the left. Right hand behind your back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Left hand behind your back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All fours. Right hand, left foot. Switch. 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 Super planks. 5 of them. Down and up. Control the hips. Down and up. Last one. And let's get you onto your side. Right side, we're going to do the bridge. So if you need to have a little assist with this side bridging thing, you can always use your wedge to give you a boost. But any difficulty with this posture is the weakness. So some people have a hard time with it. If you get your feet stacked and your knees stacked, and you get your hips, glutes on. So so the hips stay locked forward. This is where you have to be. We've been finding people getting a little better shoulder recruitment with their elbow or their arm turned out here a little bit. Just make sure your lat is your anchor. And if you need to use this to give yourself a little assistance, there's nothing wrong with that. Just get the hips forward. Keep the shoulder in line with the hip and the knee. Keep the knees and the feet together, but keep squeezing these glutes hard to keep the hips forward and lower and raise as much as you can. There's an overt weakness and it'll fail after you get to a certain degree of work. Just keep the knees together, keep the feet together, keep the heels down on the floor. That right heel's going to want to pop up. Keep kicking those hips forward. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we'll switch to the other side. So again, if you need the assistance, go ahead and use it. Just keep the glutes on and the hips forward, and you'll see that they'll just get weaker and weaker and weaker. So feet are stacked, knees are stacked, hips are tight and forward. Left lat is on. Knee, hip, and shoulder one line, but I'm keeping my glutes on. Keeping those hips forward, especially this left one, facing the mat. If those feet want to come up, you're trying to find your IT band. You need to be working the oblique here. 5, 4, and we're going to come on down. Let's face forward on your mat. We're going to go to crescent lunge. So from a half kneeling position with this right foot forward, the left knee is on. Don't worry about any foot position here, but just keep this left glute on. Hands clasped together, fingers interlocked, index fingers extend. I'm kicking through the left glute. So squeeze the left glute, extend the elbows, pull the shoulders down, lie that head back, and draw those stiff arms back toward your ears as you lift that sternum. Make sure there's no compression in the spine. Keep lifting through the sternum. Keep squeezing that left glute. Take a breath here. Pull those arms back. Squeeze that glute. Lift that sternum. No compression in the spine. 2, 1. We come on out to reverse triangle. So hook the left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Stack your hands so that the forearms are in one straight line. The hands be a little better stacked if the fingers and palms are together. And then using that leverage, try to roll the chest to the right. Keep that left glute engaged. Keep pressing the palms and fingers in. There's fascia here that gives you stability. Breath here. Push a little harder. Thunk. There goes my back. So getting the right hand now to the inside of the right foot. If you need to use your wedge or a yoga block, fine. Get the elbow resting, anchored on the inside of that right knee. And get that left arm up in the air. Pull that left arm back to open the chest and the rib cage. Whew. Pressing with that shoulder into that knee and bringing that chest open. Strong, straight left arm. Breath here. Exhale. And we'll swing you to the other side. So crescent lunge, left foot forward. The right glute is on. No worries about this foot position here. Hands clasped together, interlock the fingers. Extend those index fingers. Draw the shoulder blades down. Pull the elbows out straight. Draw the arms back toward the ears. Just keep that right glute on. Kicking. And then lifting through that sternum. No compression in the spine. Draw those stiff arms back. Shoulders nice and stable. Breath here. Exhale. We'll go to reverse triangle. So hook that right elbow outside that left knee. Get those palms together. One straight line with the forearms. Keep the right glute engaged. And then roll to the left. Press those palms in. Keep squeezing that right glute. Keep opening through the waist. Take a breath here. And then we'll go to half kneeling triangle. So get the left hand down. Left shoulder is anchored on the right knee. Right hand up to the ceiling nice and straight. and then pull that right hand back, opening that line from the rib cage to the pelvis. Take a nice breath here. And we're going to come on down here to psoas. So you're going to stay in the same setup, this half kneeling setup with the right knee down. Now you're going to widen the left foot. So take the left foot and move it sideways to the left so that your stance is a little wider between your heel and your knee. You're going to pivot this foot outside as best you can. Pull back on the toes and turn down on the heel. Most important to press down on the heel. The body will naturally turn to the left. You square yourself back to center. So focus on this glute, and as you're turning to the right, the glute should get tighter. So pull the shoulders down from your ears, get the elbows extended, pull the fingernails back, tuck the chin. Squeeze that right glute. Pull back on the right toes and turn that right heel down. Keep the arms up at the shoulder height. Keep straightening through the elbows, but as you roll to the right, continue to increase the pressure of contracting the right glute. Push through those heels, those hands. Keep squeezing that right glute. Keep those elbows up and straight. Breath here. And we'll come on back to center. Whew. So setting up on the left side. So left half kneeling. And left knee is down. I got some distance between my heel and my right foot and my left knee. But then I swing the left foot away, pull the toes back, and push down on that heel. So if I had to readjust myself, that's fine. Left glute is on, squaring up to where I'm facing. Chin is tucked, shoulders down, elbows extended, fingernails pulled back. Pushing through these elbows. Start to turn to the left as you squeeze that left glute and drive that left heel down, pulling up on those left toes and turning and squeezing that left glute. Keep the arms straight up at the shoulder height. Breath here. And we're going to come to hip capsule. So we did hip capsule on Sunday. This is a different version of it. So you're going to get here with the left heel in line with the right knee. I like this because it's very good for SI joints. This one particularly for the right. So pulling back on this knee, this arm is going to stay at shoulder height. This one will go to the ceiling. You're going to swing the right foot sideways as best you can. Pull back on those toes and turn that heel down as best you can. Your right glute is the focus. Pulling back on this knee, turning down on that right heel. Chin stays tucked. Hands to the height of the shoulders. Shoulders are down from the ears. Elbows extended. Fingernails pulled back. Spin the wrists. Push hard through the heels of those hands. Get those elbows extended out straight. And this right one comes right up by that right ear. Keep squeezing the right glute. Press that right heel down toward the floor. Keep pulling back on those right toes. The chin stays tucked. You're driving hard through that left hand. Pulling back on that left knee the entire time. Breath to your belly. Big reach up to the ceiling with that right hand. Reach forward with that left one. Pull back on that left knee. Squeeze the right glute. 2, 1. And we'll come on to that to the other side. So the left knee is down. The right foot is up. The knee is at 90. And the heel in line with the left knee. The left foot moves to the side. The toes pulled back. Turning down on this left heel. Rotates my body to the right. So I square back up, pulling back on this right knee the entire time. Chin is tucked, arms at shoulder height. Pull down with those shoulders. You're going to spin those hands. Right hand stays where it is, and that left one comes right up beside that ear. Get that elbow extended. Don't worry about how far the hand turns. Just lengthen the arm, and then lengthen the right arm. Pull back on that right knee, and keep turning down with that left foot. So keep drawing back with the right knee. Keep pushing down with the left heel. Keep squeezing that left glute. Reach the right hand away and reach the left hand to the ceiling. Breath here. And we're going to come on down. On your back, we're going to do a cervical fascial traction. So this is great for the discs in your neck. We're going to use this angle this time. So we're going to bring the arms out at about a 45-degree angle. So not straight behind you, not straight to the side, in the middle. The head will lift at the very end of the setup, just a half an inch from the floor. So you bring the knees up toward the chest. The knees should be fist width apart, toes pull back and turn in. You keep this locked here. The knees come in only so the back contacts the mat, and you're fixed right there. This should be getting easier for you by now. Tucking the chin, keeping this chin tucked. You're going to start with your arms up above your shoulders. Pull the shoulders down. Get the elbows extended. Pull back on the fingernails. Keep that chin tucked. Move the arms straight to the side. Spin the wrists now as best you can. Now angle those arms back at a 45-degree angle. Turn the thumbs and push hard through the heels of the hands. Chin stays tucked. Now lift the crown of the head a half an inch and reach the crown of the head to the wall behind you as you pull back and turn in on your toes. Keep your knees and your back fixed to the floor. Keep turning the thumbs. Keep extending through the elbows with the chin tucked and try to reach through the crown of your head as you reach through the heels of your hands, and keep turning those wrists. Take a breath, expand the belly. Exhale. And then slowly come on out of that. We're going to do a full spine now. So the left leg will extend. The left toes pull back and turn in. You grab the right knee with the left foot and just draw the knee in. So right there, I feel my back touching the mat, but I'm not pressing it down. Chin will be tucked. The head does not lift. Right arm is above the shoulder. Pull the shoulder down from the ear. Stiffen the elbow. Spin the hand. Get that hand to turn. Try to keep the elbow nice and stiff. It's going to want to bend. Just keep the elbow straight and reach through the heel of the hand. Get it as close you can, your arm to the ear. Keep that right knee pulled in so your back stays flat. Keep turning on the left toes. Turn those left toes in and pull in on the toes. Reaching through the left heel. Reaching through the right hand. Breath to your belly. Big exhale. And we'll swing to the other side. So the right leg is extended, the right toes pull back, and the right toes turn in. You're always pushing through the heel of the right foot. The left knee pulls in so you feel your back touch right there. Pulling back on the toes. Keep the chin tucked. Left hand is above your shoulder. Get the shoulder down from the ear. Pull back on the wrist. Straighten the elbow. Spin that hand. And then drop that arm as close as you can to the ear, but focus on straightening the elbow. So just focus on extending through that elbow, then worry about turning the wrist. But keep the elbow straight, locked out, and get as close as you can to your ear. And then turn that wrist and turn the right toes in. Push through the heel of the right foot. As you reach through the left hand, take a breath to your belly. And then let's get you to flip over here on your belly. We'll go to child's pose. So we'll take a few nice diaphragmatic breaths so you can work the diaphragm, a critical muscle in these chains. So with the knees nice and wide and the feet closer together so you can sit deep into your hips. And there's room for the belly to expand with the inhale through the nose. Really try to push that low abdomen, push that belly button outward, expand the belly. Force that diaphragm to do its job, work its range of motion.
Let's take a couple more. Nice 6-second breath. One more, nice big breath, a little slower, so 10 seconds.
Call that a wrap for today. So good job, you guys. Take care, stay safe.